Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, we're talking about retirement planning, that big, hairy, scary topic. Well, with us in studio, I haven't lost him yet, our resident financial advisor, Warren Ingram. Joining the discussion now is the Director and Retirement Life Planner at Chartered Wealth Solutions, Kim Potgieter. This is her book, this is her work, so we have an authority to speak to us. Welcome to you, Kim.
Great, thanks for having me.
Now, when you're putting this book together, who are you targeting that you condensed all of your knowledge of all of your experiences as a certified financial planner in this particular space? Who is this book targeted at?
Well, the book's really targeted at people 55 and up. It's people near, at, or in retirement. What I found was I had a lot of clients coming to me, and contrary to what you've been saying, they had planned the money part of retirement, but they hadn't planned everything holistically. So I needed to look at other avenues with them, because retirement there's many aspects to it. It's certainly not just about your work and not just about your money. So I bring in the whole wheel of balance and making sure that they're involved in all those areas. And then I say they can get the most meaning from their money doing all these activities. It's no good having all this money and nothing to do with it.
I can help with that money, eh?
You've got a plan.
Remember, spending money is not as pleasurable as we all anticipate it to be. We also look for meaning in our lives, and that's a lot of what I discuss with clients.
Sure. So, but when we're talking about getting to that final stage at 55 or 64, when you're about to go in retirement, what's the psychological condition that you find most people in? Because you've been doing something all of your life. You're probably at the peak or just off the peak of your career. Now things are going to change, and that ego part of I was the CEO of X, Y, and Z is kind of different now.
It's hugely different, and it becomes this major life transition. So they're kind of seeing it as a line in the sand, that everything's coming to an end of what they have been. And that's why, I mean, if I enjoy speaking to younger people, to say to them, make sure that you're always involved in work that can bring you significance and meaning. Not only that, if you're doing other things while you're working, when you get to 55 and 65, it's not such a bad transition, because there's all these things you want to go do. You're retiring to something, as opposed to just retiring from. So that's the kind of work we're doing, not only investing their money, but helping them have something to retire to.
How do you get it right in chasing this, working to build a business or earn a great income or get to the top of the corporate ladder and incorporate some of these other life balancing mechanisms that Kim's talking about?
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing about money, because I mean, I focus on the hard stuff, the hard issues around, and I mean, the stuff that Kim's talking about is really important, but it's very difficult to pin it down to a particular, only this plan or this particular issue, because everybody's different. So what gets me up in the morning when I'm not having to work for money might be around, finding ways to get children educated, paying for a charity to get that going, whereas someone else might be totally motivated by saving the rhinos or whatever the deal is, and it's quite difficult, and it's quite a complex thing, I almost want to say the touchy-feely stuff without being disparaging about it. It's important, but it's finding ways to motivate people to then save money, but also plan the other parts of their life to then have this meaningful whole existence.
So doing it together, and it comes down to also, if we're involved in work just for the sake of earning money, we lose a lot out in life. I mean, if we basically work and we structure our careers and our jobs to something we're passionate about and that we love, I always say to people, then we're earning a paycheck as opposed to just a paycheck. And if we're earning a paycheck, why would we want to retire? Why would we want to stop doing it? Because we're adding value and we're enjoying what we're doing and we're making some money doing it. So to find that is part of retirement planning as well, as opposed to just thinking you have to stop working.
But I think, I mean, to be realistic, there are a lot of people out there that are just working for a paycheck.
To pay a bill.
I agree.
And it's maybe a case then of finding balance for them in other things, because we can't all do our dream job.
No, but I think so many of us don't even put that as an option. So we just go into finding a career that we see out there that looks like we're going to earn lots of money. Whereas if we actually looked at ourselves a little bit more, went a bit more introspective, what is it we're good at, what is it we love, and what is we passionate about, surely that can become one of our careers, as opposed to just becoming ex-lawyer or accountant because they look like they make lots of money.
Now, you've got 10 retirement truths, and just to pick on a couple of them, I like the one, number 1, it's not about your age, and number 4, be the master of your money. So when we are planning, we've started working, we're in the middle of our careers, the consciousness to start planning for retirement surely needs to start now, because we need to build up this kind of savings that's going to take us into this future.
So it's exactly what Warren said earlier. see it not necessarily as retirement planning. See it as you saving, you're paying yourself first, and you're saving for freedom of choice. I mean, if we don't have investments and we don't have money working for us, we have no choices. We are stuck doing what we do every single day, even if we don't want to do it. So I believe the same for retirement. We need to start as early as we can. And guess what? I want to do it so that I've got a choice. At the end of the day, I decide where I want to take my life, not somebody else telling me.
Warren, give me a tangible definition of this nebulous concept, financial independence. Oh, I want to be financially independent. Help me get my head around that.
So it's getting to the point where your money can provide you enough income to cover all your expenses, and it can do it on a sustainable basis. So if you get to that point, and that'll be different for everybody. So and it's not the same as being rich or being wealthy. I mean, there are a lot of people. I've met lots of people sitting on 50, 60 million rand that cannot afford to stop work because they spend so much that 50 or 60 million rand will disappear in a few years if they're not careful. So it's a case of saying, manage your expenses, your lifestyle costs on the one side. That's really important. And then building up enough capital to fund those costs. And I think it's possible for anybody to get to the point of financial freedom. It's not something that's unattainable for everybody. But having as much money as Bill Gates, for example, that's not going to be possible for everybody. Financial freedom, definitely possible.
All right, we're going to be finding out more of what's possible in the retirement space. Stay with us. We'll see you on the other side of this break.